Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Domino Effect, in which we discuss the intersection of our community's top social issues with legal issues impacting us all. I'm Jessica Thomas, a Florida family law attorney and your host. In this episode, we will honor the brave men and women who have served in our military to protect our freedom. We have three amazing guests joining us who will share important information and resources for our veterans. We will also be discussing some of the most common challenges that our veterans face and that what we can do as a community to support them. Remember, perpetual goodness goes a long way, and every person, company, and organization can positively impact our community, making Central Florida one of the most desirable destinations in the nation. We each have a responsibility to assist in some way when possible and can continue to maintain the cycle of development and improvement in our community. This is the Domino Effect. Deciding to join the military and putting your life on the line to ensure liberty is not an easy decision. It takes plenty of valor and courage to do so. Joining us now is a passionate United States military veteran and attorney dedicated to serving our veterans, Attorney Skiles Jones. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me.
Wonderful. Tell me first, let's start from the beginning. What branch and how long?
I'm an Army veteran. I'm still in the reserves, actually. So I'm 14 years, still going strong. Yeah, keeps me busy on the weekends.
Oh, well, thank you for your service.
And
thank you for what you do for our country. I'd like to know why. Why did you enter into the military?
Well, I did what most 30-something-year-old guys do after working in retail for a number of years. I joined the Army and totally changed my life. So it gave me the opportunities to do what I'm doing now as helping people and just really doing anything I can to help veterans and other folks. The Army has really given me that opportunity. So I wanted to serve even from high school. I'm a local guy, so from Orlando here. I went to Evans High School in ROTC back in the day, and always wanted to join. But life kind of gets in the way sometimes, as of course it does. But finally got in when I was in my 30s and said, look, I'm doing this. I'm going to make a difference somehow.
Now that's a huge pivot from military to attorney. How did you get there? What was that road?
Well, when I joined the military, I was a medic initially.
Okay.
Right? So I joined in, again, trying to help people any way I can. And then when I came back from mobilization, I said, well, what's my next chapter? How am I going to be able to help even more people? Finished up UCF, went to Florida A&M University here in Orlando for law school, and continued helping folks that way.
Wow. Now, how did you get from being an attorney to being a pro bono attorney with legal aid and giving back to our community through that?
Well, sure. So at Florida A&M University, they have clinics. So the clinics are run by or assisted with the Legal Aid Society. And so I participated in a number of different clinics while I was going to school. After I graduated, became an attorney, I became a pro bono attorney to do wills and help out in probates and such, which is my practice areas that I mainly handle. And then I still continue with the Valor Clinic that the Legal Aid Society does as well, which is at the VA Center in Lake Nona and also the VA Center over in Baldwin Park. They have a little section over there where they're providing some free legal service, not giving them advice then, but getting them matched up with other pro bono attorneys. So we do more of an intake system there.
Tell me about the Valor program now. That's new to me. Tell me about Valor and how it helps our veterans in Central Florida.
Well, definitely. So a lot of veterans don't know where to go for legal services. So well, why not go to the VA? Because VA gives you everything, of course, right? So they'll go to the VA, and the Valor program will, by the Legal Aid Society, will let us get a intake type process of, hey, I've got this issue. And whether it's a housing issue, a family issue, a contract issue, whatever it is, and they just need to know where to go. So they'll ask for assistance from the attorneys that are there volunteering for the Valor Clinic. And then the Legal Aid Society, Jay at the over there, will match them up with pro bono attorneys to assist them with whatever their legal situation is.
Now, in your experience, what would you say are some of the top 3 main issues really affecting our veterans in Central Florida, legal issues?
Well, veterans have the same issues everybody else has. It's a lot of times you have there's things that are compounding the problems, PTSD or other types of stress that has happened. So there's a lot of issues that come up that are family related, of course, because with PTSD leads to potentially other type of domestic violence or anything related in that aspect. So that leads to either family law issues or possibly criminal issues as well. So I'd see that's probably a big issue. My firm also handles veterans benefits, so we have a lot of folks that want to increase their percentages that they're getting from the government. That gives them more benefits, money, number one, but other services as well, or possibly appeal some of the different things that has been adjudicated against them from the VA that is preventing them from obtaining some of those different services. So that's another big issue that's out there. And really I guess if you asked for 3, right? So the third thing would just be kind of anything else that kind of ancillary to the other things that are occurring. I also handle guardianship, so I see a lot of veterans that need assistance as they get older and can't take care of themselves. We usually see guardianship for children, of course, but as somebody gets dementia or Alzheimer's or a number of different medical or physical issues, they need somebody to legally be in charge of them. So a guardianship needs to occur.
Now, when we talk about some of the services that you're talking about, what's the name of your firm?
Yeah, so I'm the owner of Patriot Legal Group. I have office over in Baldwin Park area here in Orlando. I've also got an office down in Polk County in the Auburndale area and an office up in Orange City in Volusia County.
Now, when we talk about veterans specifically in Central Florida, what would you say is probably the biggest resource for them other than the VA? Because I agree, I do family law, so a lot of times if there's an issue, maybe the VA, maybe the JAG or what have you. What other kind of community partners have you been able to experience, or do you give back with the veterans?
Well, definitely. The Orange County Veterans, I'm trying to think of the name, but the Orange County Mayor's Committee for Veterans has they provide a lot of different services. So they'll meet monthly, and they'll provide a lot of resources for the different companies that are volunteering either their time or money to provide for veterans. And it's all kinds of different services from there's counseling services, there's housing assistance, there's all kinds of different things that are available.
Well, I did not know about that. So tell me, when you talk about giving back, you're already serving our country. What made you decide to not only become an attorney, but now a pro bono attorney? Why? Why give even more of yourself? What was really driving you behind that service?
And again, being the local person, I wanted to give back to my local community as much as I can. Whether it's to a veteran or to other non-veterans, I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity, equal access to justice, right? We want to have that opportunity that people can get the services that they need so that they can figure out whatever the issue is and continue on with whatever the problem is and be able to solve that problem. I think I'm a problem solver, right? So the whatever that problem is, I want to try and help other people be able to do that. And the Army helped me have this opportunity to be a lawyer. I want to also give back to veterans because some of them may not have taken advantage of the opportunities that were provided to them from the military. So I'm just trying to give back any way I possibly can to help out as much as I can.
And then one clarification just for our viewers. When we talk about veteran, you're obviously still reserve, active duty. So can it be anyone that you can help as far as veterans? When we say that term, do you mean just someone who is out of the military, someone who's still doing reserve? Can it be any combination thereof?
Right, absolutely. A veteran is a combination of any of those, right? So it's someone that has served, And if you've been in a time of war, there's certain designations. If just joining at certain times of whether you go overseas or not, you're still joining at a time of war. It can still give you additional benefits as well. But veterans are anyone that's raised their hand and said, I'm swore to defend this country.
Wow. Thank you so much for what you've done.
Absolutely.
Thank you for what you continue to do, and thank you for what you're doing for our Central Florida community.
We appreciate it.
A special thanks to Skiles Jones for providing us with such an important message. We are grateful for his contributions to our community and serving our country. Up next, we have another guest who will explain how their organization is doing all that it can do to provide for the veterans with the best opportunities. But first, let's take a quick moment to recognize our generous sponsors. We'll be back with more of the Domino Effect.
A disproportionate number of Floridians don't have access to the justice system. That's why Funding Florida Legal Aid exists to bridge this gap. Their mission is to increase access for the underprivileged by funding legal services, developing innovative tools and programs, supporting legal aid providers and the courts. Because of their efforts, they've been able to help veterans facing homelessness, children in the foster care system, men and women who've survived domestic violence, and securing benefits for our elderly and disabled. Doing good for the greatest in need, because everyone deserves access to justice.
Welcome back to the Domino Effect. Our next guest is Norris Henderson, a veteran who served in the United States Marine Corps for 20 years. With an impressive track record of working for the betterment of his fellow veterans, he currently manages Mission United, a veterans program facilitated by Heart of Florida United Way. We are honored to have him join the conversation. Thank you for being here, Norris. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Let's start from the beginning. What branch and how long?
So the United States Marine Corps and 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Tell me about how you wanted to join the military. How did that come about, and how did you get to Mission United?
That's great. My father served in the Korean War. My brother served in the Army. So I took a different branch. I served in ROTC in high school. So all of my friends went to the Marine Corps, and I followed their footsteps. Yes.
Wonderful. And now, when you were in the Marines, what job did you have there?
So I did logistics, and I did 8 years of recruiting during my 20 years of United States Marine Corps.
Wow. So you have been giving service back to veterans for over 2 decades.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, how did you get from the Marine Corps to Mission United?
So when I moved here about 4 years ago, there was a job opening, and my passion is veterans. Anything assisting veterans, that's my passion. And I applied for this position, and I've been here now 4 years.
What is Mission United?
So that's a great question. Mission United is a veterans program within Heart of Florida United Way. We collaborate with other community partners to find resources for our veterans with a little bit of direct assistance. And we just collaborate with other community partners to make sure our veterans know what they're qualified for, what benefits are available to them.
Now, when you say through United Way, I know that we both know it is, but a lot of our viewers may not even be familiar with that. What is United Way?
So Heart of Florida United Way is a nonprofit. We have several different programs to serve our community. Basically, we just collaborate with other nonprofits and the community. We just want to make sure that we serve the community. For example, one of the projects we recently did was the Thanksgiving giveaway project. So things like that, the community baby shower, we just want to serve our community and give back to our community.
What are some of the services that Mission United provides to our veterans here in Central Florida?
So some of the service we provide is information and referral.
Okay.
Sometimes we do some direct assistance for our veterans. For example, right now we're providing veterans with a Lyft ride share service. So if a veteran has trouble finding transportation, they can call our 211 or they can go to our website and fill out a short application, and we'll provide them with a Lyft ride to doctor's appointments, grocery store, anything that can help the veteran sustain economically.
Is that same day?
Same day, yes, same
Wow.
day, yes.
That's huge. Now, I understand that Mission United has a relationship and supports the Orange County Bar Association's Legal Aid Society. Can you tell
Yes.
me a little bit about that relationship?
Yes, I'm so excited because the Orange County Bar Association does a great job. We partner with them. One of your attorneys, Mr. Jay Mobley, he's been on our Mission United Advisory Council board for years, even before I got here. So that's how our partnership started. And just what they do for veterans, especially during the pandemic and even now, there was a lot of legal issues that came up for veterans. And because of our partnership, they were able to do some of those services pro bono, which saved veterans a lot of funds, without having to spend a lot of money. So that's really a great partnership that we've loved to have with the Orange County Legal Aid Society.
Give me a few examples of some of the legal issues that you have experienced or really facing our veterans specifically.
Some of the legal issues, one that comes to mind is housing. During the eviction moratorium, a lot of veterans didn't know what their rights were, and we would refer them over to the Orange County Legal Aid Society. They would help them and walk them through the court proceedings and what their rights are when it comes to evictions. Also, they've helped veterans with domestic issues, domestic violence issues, child support, anything legal you can name. They've been a great partner assisting our veterans whenever we refer them to Orange County Legal Aid Society.
Now, you mentioned your passion for giving back to our Orange County veterans. Has that even kind of gone over now into a initiative from our mayor?
Yes, because I actually serve on the Orange County Mayor's Veterans Advisory Council Board, and we do a lot of work within the community, making sure that, again, the veterans know what they qualify for, what benefits are available to them. So again, my passion has even elevated more now that I'm on that board, yes.
How can people who are watching this, who are a veteran, who, whether it's I need the lift, I know I need to call, legal aid, if it's that I need services, I need legal issues, but what other kinds of ways can people get in touch with Mission United as veterans to get the services that they desperately need?
That's a great question. They can dial 211. The 211 operators are there to walk them through, and then my case managers get their referrals from 211. Or they can go to our website, www.hfuw.org. Click for veterans, and it'll give them a list of resources that they can apply for. My case managers will reach out to them and make sure that they receive the resources that they're seeking.
When we say veterans, does it have to be a veteran who has been disabled, or can it be any veteran? Does it have to be someone who's already receiving a benefit?
It can be any veteran. The thing is, when a veteran calls for one resource, we may be able to ask questions and find them 2, 3, 4 more different resources. So just because they call for one resource, we ask the questions, hey, what about this, what about that? And then they find out they qualify for other resources that we can actually assist them with.
Now, are you all local? Is there, sometimes especially sometimes in our community, we have more seasoned members who really want to be in person talking to someone versus just on the phone or virtual. Do you all have that ability for others who are veterans and want to come in person to Mission United?
Yeah, so we're local. We're located at 1940 Cannery Way here in Orlando. But the best way and the quickest way for a veteran to get assistance and to get in touch with us is to dial 211.
Okay.
And then my case managers get that referral, and we make sure that the veteran is taken care of.
What if they've gotten services from other agencies for veterans? Can they still reach out to you all to get additional benefits or, seek additional resources to supplement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, we do direct services. Another program we have is the Mission United Employability Scholarship Fund, where we partner with local community colleges, and we assist the veterans with paying for their licensing and certifications. So that's another direct assistance that we can do. So just because they've gotten other assistance from another resource, we may have something that we can offer direct to the veteran.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you for your service to our country and to our community. We appreciate you being here today.
No, thank you for having me.
I want to thank Norris once again for joining us on this show and sharing his valuable insights on how we can support our veterans. We are also grateful for his service. We have one more break before we welcome our final guest. We'll be back shortly.
A disproportionate number of Floridians don't have access to the justice system. That's why funding Florida Legal Aid exists to bridge this gap. Their mission is to increase access for the underprivileged by funding legal services, developing innovative tools and programs, supporting legal aid providers and the courts. Because of their efforts, they've been able to help veterans facing homelessness, children in the foster care system, men and women who've survived domestic violence, and securing benefits for our elderly and disabled. Doing good for the greatest in need, because everyone deserves access to justice.
Welcome back. Last but certainly not least is our final guest of today. He is none other than attorney Jamos J. Mobley with the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association. Jay is no stranger to the Domino Effect, having hosted this show in the past, only this time he's on the other side of the table. Jay, I'm looking forward to our conversation today. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
So let's start from the beginning. For those who don't know you, who is Jay Mobley?
Well, I am the Senior Housing and Consumer Attorney at the Legal Aid Society. So I handle landlord-tenant issues, consumer debt matters, but what I really love is helping out the veterans in Orange County who are, low income and facing civil legal issues that I can help them with.
Now, I understand that you yourself are a veteran. Is that correct?
I served in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service. What brought you from the Air Force to being an attorney?
Being an attorney was something I always wanted to do. So after I had a career in the Air Force and then some civilian life, I decided to go back and get my law degree so I could help folks that needed it.
Now, when you talk about helping veterans specifically, what are some of the issues that you've seen through legal aid that are really facing our veterans, maybe top three?
Veterans are just like everyone else. They have the same issues, which is housing and income issues, debt issues, and of course, family law and domestic violence. Those are the top areas that I see of need.
Now, can legal aid assist in some of those areas?
We can assist in all of those areas. We love to help veterans out. We actually created a program called the Valor Project, and we go out and meet veterans where they're at the VA hospital and have pop-up legal clinics that they can get advice on the spot, or we can help them by referring them back to legal aid and assigning that case to a pro bono attorney or a staff attorney to help them through whatever they're facing.
Now, you mentioned that Valor is sometimes pop-up. Does it have a point of contact if people are interested in getting those services?
That would be me.
Ah!
And we have a set schedule. We're out at the main VA campus in Lake Nona, Wednesday, the 2nd and 4th at Lake Nona, and Wednesday, the 1st Wednesday of the month at Lake Baldwin.
Now, the Valor Clinic, do they have to qualify, or just being a veteran is qualification enough?
We do have income requirements. We're trying to help out the low-income folks who are particularly in need because they can't afford to hire an attorney. But any veteran can stop by and get referrals and resources.
Now, when we talk about resources and referrals, tell me a little bit about what kind of resources have you seen within the Orange County community for our veterans?
We've got a lot of resources. There's really no wrong door to come through. Whether you go to Mission United, you'll get referred to legal aid for our help. You can call us directly. You don't have to wait for one of the clinics. You can call legal aid's main intake line and we can help you there. There's a lot of resources out there if veterans just ask for it.
Now, when we talk about the asking, some of our more seasoned community members may want to be in person. How would they contact? Are there local offices for them to be able to visit for legal aid?
You can call, and we do most of the intake over the phone, so you don't have to leave your home to do an intake or ask for service. So we would help you over the phone if you call us, but if you want that personal face-to-face meeting, show up at one of our clinics out at the VA.
Wonderful.
You'll get to sit down with an attorney who's probably a veteran themselves, and you'll get to tell them your issues, they'll talk with you, and we'll figure out a way to help.
Now, would you say, when we say that veterans have the same legal problems as everyone else, but would you say there are some specific considerations for veterans when approaching their legal issues?
There are. We see a lot of PTSD exacerbating the other civil legal issues that are going on. So PTSD also, it exacerbates family law issues very often. So we have to kind of unravel that and take that into consideration when we're trying to help them. They do have a different background than some civilian off the street who maybe doesn't have the unseen scars of battle.
Do you all have some mental health resources as well?
We are able to refer you to get those resources, yes.
Now, I also understand that congratulations are in order. Did you recently receive an award from the Orlando Business Journal?
I did, Veterans of Influence 2023.
Congratulations.
Thank you for that.
So for people who may not know what that award means, can you tell our viewership a little bit about it?
It recognizes veterans in the community who have given back and made contributions that help our veterans.
Wow. Continuing that service, not only through your Air Force time, now as an attorney, and then not just an attorney, but an attorney with legal aid, how do you find the tenacity for it and why?
Well, I think in the military, everyone who's served understands that you don't give up, you don't retreat. And I still see a need out in the community to provide these services to veterans. So if not me, who? I'm able to help, so I should.
Now, when we talk about that, you mentioned some of the attorneys who may be assisting them are also veterans. How has it been as far as your experience when you're going to help someone through the Valor Clinic and they recognize that they're talking to another service member? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
That is, it's an amazing connection that you have with them. The minute you realize you've both been there, done that, there's a level of trust that is immediately there with another service member because they understand, they get it. So if you're talking about trauma in the military, the other veteran's going to understand. So that immediately puts them in a position to feel comfortable talking about what are often difficult legal issues. So it helps tremendously, and the reward is incredible knowing that you've helped out your fellow service member.
Now, when we say service members, and I know you mentioned you were in the Air Force, for our viewers, is there any particular branch? Can it be any branch? Is there any time limit of service, things like that?
We help any veteran. So if you have raised your hand and swore to defend the country and you've done some service, we're going to help you out.
Wonderful. Now, what would you say for people who want to support legal aid? How can they get involved? Are they able to make volunteerism a priority? Are they able to financially contribute? Are all of those things accepted, and how so?
Absolutely. All of those things are great with us. If you want to volunteer and get involved, just please reach out to us. There's lots of opportunities to spread the word in the community, and we need volunteers to help us do that. And of course, financially, if you're able to make a donation, we'd certainly appreciate that. We'll make it stretch as far as we can.
Now, do they have to be an attorney to volunteer?
No, absolutely not. If you want to volunteer with the clinic to sit down and do advice and counsel, obviously you have to be an attorney. But there are many more ways that you can get involved and help out our veterans.
Wonderful. Jay, I appreciate your service. Thank you for what you've done for our country and for our Orlando community. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank Jay Mobley for his service to our country and all that he continues to do with the Legal Aid Society and the ongoing work he does for our veterans. To our viewers, we do this for you. Our goal is to inspire each person that's watching so that we can provide help to those in need. We hope to see you again for the next episode. I'm your host, Jessica Thomas, and this is The Domino Effect.
A disproportionate number of Floridians don't have access to the justice system. That's why Funding Florida Legal Aid exists to bridge this gap. Their mission is to increase access for the underprivileged by funding legal services, developing innovative tools and programs, supporting legal aid providers and the courts. Because of their efforts, they've been able to help veterans facing homelessness, children in the foster care system, men and women who've survived domestic violence, and securing benefits for our elderly and disabled. Doing good for the greatest in need, because everyone deserves access to justice.
The Legal Aid Society has existed for over 60 years, providing legal representation to clients on issues similar to those discussed in this episode. The community must know that when faced with legal troubles, you are and should still be able to receive high-quality legal representation and access to justice, regardless of your income. If you are seeking legal assistance on any legal matter, you may contact the Legal Aid Society Law Firm by calling 407-841-8310. The Legal Aid Society is a nonprofit law firm that relies greatly on volunteerism and donations. For more information on how you can support this worthy organization, visit legalaidoCBA.org today. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Domino Effect. And remember, perpetual goodness goes a long way. See you next time.